Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is Ehsan. Welcome to another video for IELTS reading. We're gonna solve another IELTS reading passage from this book, Cambridge 11, Test 1, Reading Passage 1. It is better for you to have a pencil and take notes while watching this video and turn off any distractors such as your cell phone to have your full concentration. I'm gonna give you lots of tips and tricks to solve this test together, and it is better for you to smile while watching this video, especially have a positive feelings during your real IELTS exam. But before we get started, if you're new here, please give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button and also the notification bell, so whenever I upload a new video you'll be aware of it. So let's jump into it. On the left hand side you can see the passage crop growing skyscrapers, and on the right hand side you can see the questions. Okay, questions 1 to 7 is just complete the sentences below and choose no more than 2 words, which means that we can use 2 words or 1 word only. It's some type of easy questions. We can start from here. Questions 8 to 13 is true, false, not given. So I'm going to leave these questions to the end. Let's start from here. So for first one, indoor farming. You can look for indoor farming in the passage, or better word, what is this? Some food plants, including what, are already grown indoors. So food plants. This is a great to look for. So what are some good plants? Good plants such as vegetables, fruits, potatoes, something like that. So you're going to look for this keyword in the passage, and hopefully the questions and answers for this kind of questions in the typical IELTS exam are in the same order. So whenever you find the answer for the question number 1, you're probably going to the next sentences or follow-up paragraphs in the passage. So food plants is your full concentration to look for it, to scan your reading, looking for something like a food plants. Where is it? You see how I move my mouse on the screen? You just look for something to have the meaning of food plants. Here, this is it. Potatoes. Potatoes is some kind of food plants. So some food plants, including what, are already grown indoors. Let's start from here. The concept of indoor farming, which is the main title of here, is not new, since hothouse production of potatoes and other produce has been in vogue for some time. So here in vogue for some time, which means are already grown. So some food plants like what, including tomatoes. Tomatoes is actually the right answer for this question, and you can just copy and paste the word, and here is just 1 word is the right answer. So next question, vertical farms is a great keyword to look for. Would be located in what, meaning that there would be less need to take them long distances to customers. Just look for vertical farms. Where is it, vertical farms? Because you cannot paraphrase it. Vertical farm, here it is. Vertical farm is in inverted commas. So one such proposal, or maybe I don't know, maybe it's better to start 1 sentence before that. Many believe an entirely new approach to indoor farming is required, employing It's something, it's some kind of a place located in what? Okay, we're looking for this now. Cutting edge technologies. One such proposal is for the vertical farm. The concept is of multi-story buildings in which food crops are grown in environmentally controlled conditions. Situated in is the paraphrase for located in. So situated in, located in, you see, these are the same paraphrase: located in, situated in. And I already created a keyword table. You can watch that playlist for this kind of paraphrasing. It's really helpful and really make it easy for you to look for what kind of paraphrasing in the passage. Situated in the heart of urban centers. Located in, so no more than 2 words. Urban centers. I just gonna copy and paste. Urban centers. So this is the answer for this question. Okay, urban centers. Question 3. Vertical farms could use methane from plants and animals to produce what? So here methane is the main keyword. Just look for the methane, probably in the next sentences. So it's not there. Maybe the next paragraphs. Methane, just look for methane. Methane, where is it? You see, we are practicing together to look for specific words. Here, this is methane. Great. Okay, this is methane. So from plants and animals to produce what? Now we're focusing on producing something. It would maybe from here, although the system would consume energy, it would return energy to the grid via methane generation from composting non-edible parts of plants. So from plants and animals to produce what? Vertical farms could use methane to produce what? Although the system would consume energy, it would return energy. Return energy return energy, meaning that produce energy. Here return means produce. Return energy, produce energy. Okay, so energy is the right answer for this question. Question number 4. The consumption of what would be cut because agricultural vehicles would be unnecessary? Some agricultural vehicles is great to look for. Maybe they paraphrase it using another name of the vehicles. I don't know, combine, tractor, something like that. So the consumption of what? It would also, here I see tractors. Tractors is a kind of agricultural vehicle. So this sentence must be the answer hidden in here. The consumption of what? It would also, as you can see, first I look for the main keyword. After that, now I'm focusing on answering the gap fill, okay? Consumption of what? It would also dramatically reduce fossil fuel use. Consumption of, so they paraphrase this, consumption of fossil fuel use. Use means consumption, and they somehow change the structure. This is another way of using a paraphrase. You don't have to always just use synonyms for paraphrasing. You can sometimes just change the structure of a sentence. This is really helpful tip for your IELTS writing task 1 or 2 as well. So question 5, the fact that vertical farms would need what? Light is a disadvantage. Light could be a keyword, and maybe disadvantage. So a major drawback of vertical farming. Disadvantage, drawback. So this is the answer. However, is that the plants would require artificial light. So easy ones. Artificial. And as I already said, in IELTS reading, you can just copy and paste the word to save you a lot of time and make no mistake in the spelling. Artificial light. So question 6, one form of, so this is our answer for this question. One form of vertical farming involves planting in what which are not fixed. One form of vertical farming. Planting in what? So here, one form of, maybe they paraphrase it, I don't know, something which is not fixed. And here it says that one variation on vertical farming, which means that one form of vertical farming, okay, that has been developed is to grow plants in stacked trays. Grow plants in stacked trays. So planting in stacked trays. So how about which are not fixed? That move on rails. Which are not fixed, meaning that which are not fixed means move on rails. Great paraphrase, okay? Now, question number 7. The most probable development is that food will be grown on what in towns and cities? Maybe they paraphrase it, I don't know, towns and cities, or maybe they use just the same words, but most of the times they use paraphrasing. For example, urban areas, something like that. So look for cities or urban or maybe towns, I don't know. And here it is, urban rooftops. So the last sentence of the passage. The most probable, now focusing on the answering the question, the most probable development is that food will be grown on what? While it is possible that much of our food will be grown in skyscrapers in future, grown on what? Not in future, in towns and cities. Be careful with that. Most experts currently believe it is far more likely, it is far more likely, the most probable, far more likely, paraphrasing, that we will simply use the space available on urban rooftops, so grown on rooftops in towns and cities. And it is better for you to be careful about the meaning here, rooftops. So here rooftops is the right answer for question number 7. Now move on for question for true false not given. So question 8. Methods for predicting the Earth's population have recently changed. Earth's population could be a main keyword. And just reading the question 9, maybe this is not given, I don't know. Human beings are responsible for some of the destruction to food producing land. And just to make it clear, we can highlight the keywords for our questions. The crops produced in vertical farms will depend on the season, depending on the season. This is the main focus. Some damage to food crops is caused by climate change. We're talking about some damage. Fertilizers will be needed for certain crops in vertical farms will be needed. This is the kind of language they're looking for. Vertical farming will make plants less likely to be affected by infectious diseases. This is the language they look for, but the yellow ones is the first keywords that we look for, okay? So here it says are responsible for. Methods for predicting the Earth have recently changed. You see? This is two parts. This is somehow the two parts. First one, keywords, the main keywords that we can locate at the answer, and the second one is the kind of language that they're questioning us. So, Earth's population, where it is. Here we can see some numbers, and here it is. This is Earth's population. Okay. So, methods for predicting the Earth's population have recently changed. By the year 2050, nearly 80% of the Earth's population will live in urban centers. Applying the most conservative estimates to current demographic trends, the human population will increase by about 3 billion people by then. An estimated 10 to the power of 9 hectares of new land, about 20% larger than Brazil, will be needed to grow enough food to feed them if traditional farming methods continue as they are practiced today. So there is no mention of recently changing the trend of predicting the Earth's population. There is nothing about that. So the answer here is not given. And I know this is kind of hard to guess what is the answer. So question 9. Human beings are responsible for some of the destruction of food producing land. How we can deal with this question? So in the typical of IELTS exam, true, false, not given are in order, the questions and answers, but sometimes they jump back to make you confused, not particularly in passage 1, maybe in passage 2 or 3, and sometimes you have to jump from, for example, paragraph 1 to the paragraph 4. Just look for human. So it is not something that fixed about looking for the answer. Okay, you have to go through all the paragraphs. It makes it really hard to answer, but just look for the keyword human. Okay, here, this is human. It took humans 10,000 years to learn how to grow most of the crops we now take for granted. Along the way, we despoiled means destruction of food producing land. This is the paraphrasing. Most of the land we worked. So we are responsible to destruction of food production land. It's completely obvious. So the answer is true. For question 9. Question 10. The crops produced in vertical farms will be depend on the season. Depending on the season is the kind of language, and the crops produced in vertical farms is the first keyword to look for. So, and this is where they try to confuse us. Actually, you had to go back one paragraph to find the answer for this question. And here, this is the main sentence, the main heart of this sentence. Here it says that if successfully implemented, proponents claim vertical farms offer the promise of urban renewal, sustainable production of a safe and varied food supply through year-round production of all crops, through year-round. So this is not depending on the season. Sustainable production of a safe and varied food supply, and the eventual repair of ecosystems that have been sacrificed for horizontal farming. So it is not depending on the season, as long as they have a safe environment to plant. So the answer for this question is false, actually. Some damage to food crops is caused by climate change. It's caused by climate change. So, some damage to food crops, climate change. Maybe for climate change, I think we can look for climate change or some paraphrasing of it. Climate change. Here. Rapidly changing climate. Maybe, I think this is it. And maybe, however, more often than not now, due to rapidly changing climate, that is not what happens. Massive floods, long droughts, hurricanes, and severe monsoons take their toll each year, destroying millions of tons of valuable crops. So here it says that some damage to food crops is caused by climate change. It's completely true, as this here we can say it's completely obvious that the answer is true. So fertilizers will be needed for certain crops in vertical farms. Look for fertilizers. Look for fertilizers. Fertilizers. Where it is? Yes, here it is. Fertilizers for this question. So all the food, and what is the question, will be needed for certain crops in vertical farms. All the food could be grown organically, eliminating the need for fertilizers, for herbicides, pesticides, and fertilizers. Eliminating the need. So it's completely obvious that the answer is false. As you can see, this is the kind of a skill that you had to master it, to just locating your answer and have your full concentration where you find the answer. And I'm doing it just like I'm a student, because I am a student actually. I'm not consider myself as a teacher. I'm just a student like you. So trying to make it walk through and along with me practice this kind of tests. And by practicing and the repetition, you can be master in finding these answers. Okay, Question 13. Vertical farming will make plants less likely to be affected by infectious diseases. Infectious diseases is great to look for. And here it is. The next sentence. Okay? So here it says that vertical farming will make plants less likely to be affected by infectious disease. This is the language they look for. The system would greatly reduce the incidence of many infectious diseases that are acquired at the agricultural interface. So greatly reduce the incidence of, which means that less likely to be affected by infectious diseases. So here this is true. Okay guys, I know that it takes a lot of time for us to answer these questions, but this is a walkthrough example of IELTS reading, and I give you lots of tips and tricks and strategies to deal with it. I hope you find it useful. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section, and if you think this is helpful for you, please give me a thumbs up, share this video with your friends, and stay tuned for the next videos. Thanks for watching.